But first, we're going to talk a little real estate. We do this once a month. Mae Graves joins us, our real estate pro, to talk about the local market and some tips for our buying and selling out there if you're thinking of it. Mae, good to have you back.
Well, hello, Todd. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure.
So let's get to it. Let's talk about what's it looking like out there for real estate on the North Peninsula right now.
Well, last month was super fun. You had someone standing in. It was the famous Amanda Bacon. That was super fun. So I reported to Amanda last month, October, actually not last month because now we're in December, but the month of October was the highest sold month for the entire year.
Wow.
I kind of saw that coming with rates coming down a bit. We usually have a pretty strong November, like year over year. Lots of sales close in November. It's kind of that last push before the holidays, before the weather, the shorter days. But this year it was a bit sooner because the rates had taken a dip. So let me tell you what's going on for November. We're in December now, so of course we'll have a few weeks left of the year, and then we'll report for the year. So in Port Angeles, we sold 27 homes in the month of November. The median days on market was just 19, which is still pretty fast. The month before was 29. This is for the month of November. Did I say that?
Yep.
Yes. Median home price $425. That's the lowest for the year. Now, what does that tell us? It doesn't tell us a lot because we'd have to have a lot more data. Probably that less luxury home selling. When you sell luxury homes, you're selling, it's a higher price point, if you will. My ringer's on. 1 second here. And then price per square foot, $324. That's above average for the year. And again, that doesn't tell us a lot. It might tell us that, so if you have small houses, like let's say a tiny house, the price per square foot is enormous because it's all kitchens and bathrooms. The bigger the house, the less per square foot. And then when you get into luxury, those numbers go back up. So what is it all saying? Maybe fewer high-end homes selling, more fixers or more things that need a little remodel. 12 of the 35 homes that sold were at or over asking. 11 of the 27. We're on Port Angeles. 11 of the 27 homes that sold were at or over asking, so about 40% of them. And then 95% is what they're closing out at. So whatever the list price was, they're closing out about 5% under that. And then 8 of the 27 homes sold to cash buyers. That was all for Port Angeles. For Sequim, we sold 35 homes. That's about half of what we did in October. There were 63 homes that sold in October. Yeah, kind of crazy. Yeah. Median days on market, just 25. Median home price, $499. I think I flip-flopped some numbers here, but you're getting the picture. Mm-hmm. That was the lowest for the year. Cash sales, 12 of the 35 homes were to cash buyers, which is about a third of them still. In markets where the interest rates are higher, we see more cash sales, usually about 40%. Right. So there are some investors probably that aren't using their cash right now. They're willing to take a loan out.
What, this kind of... Again, you say there's probably maybe there's just some anomalies in this, some outliers in just timing of the year as well. Maybe a lot of people with some higher end property have either decided they're going to wait till after the holidays are through to put it onto the market. I mean, does that play into it as well? Just, I guess I'll call it market timing.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of sellers right now are sort of waiting for the spring market, which sometimes that's warranted. But I've told this story many times. About a year ago, I had a home on Bell Hill. It was October. They called and said, can you come look at our house? We don't want to list till the spring. But when I went to look at their house, it was pretty much show ready for pictures, beautiful home. Okay. And when I looked at the data, there were no homes on the market in Bell Hill or on Bell Hill. And statistically, we sell about 2.5 homes per month on Bell Hill. Mm-hmm. So what that told me was, if you put your home on the market, you're going to get a buyer.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So that's what they did.
Yeah.
They listed in October. They only had 2 showings. but they also had 2 offers.
Yeah. So how long did it take? Was that, a couple of weeks then maybe on the market?
Like a week. I mean, right when we put on the market, we had 2 showings.
Right.
One said they were writing an offer, so we let the other person know, hey, there's an offer on the way. So they ended up selling for full price and cash. The other offer was full price and financed. Not that there's a huge difference, but it's just less hoops to jump through. It goes a little smoother.
Okay, so I got to ask, with that said, are we throwing out the old adages anymore now about, the best time to sell is the spring, for example?
We just have to look at the data.
Yeah.
The experienced agents are looking at not just when there's most of the sales and mostly buyers in town. They're looking at the data to say, listen, there's nothing like yours on the market. Like I have one coming up. And we haven't decided when we will list it. It's getting the interior painted right now, and they're asking, should we get it on the market right now? Mm-hmm. I'm kind of a little hesitant because of holidays. Most people aren't looking for a house over, Christmas and New Year's, that kind of 2 weeks in there. Not that nobody is. There are people who are. And so we'll probably hold off just a little bit. Valentine's Day is a great day to put your house on the market because inventory has dwindled a bit over the winter, and the spring market hasn't gotten into full swing. So if you list your house, there typically is a feeding frenzy. Like by March 1st, if you're the only one in the market, you might sell to the first person through the door if you price it right.
All right. So that's the key to all of this, as we've talked in the past, is getting the right price. Also, and you just alluded to this as well with one that you're talking about, whether it should go on the market now or not. You talked about getting things right in the house. I'm thinking about maybe putting a house on the market. Maybe I say, oh, well, May says I should get out there by Valentine's Day. What should I be doing to my house right now? What are the things that are absolutely you would tell a potential seller to be thinking about doing to get their house market ready?
Yeah, I use the term move the needle a lot because there are things that sellers can do that won't move the needle. They put a lot of time, money, energy into it, and it's not going to necessarily make it sell faster or for more money. Some of the things that you can do, like paint is relatively inexpensive, but if you're not detail-oriented, hire it out. You'll do more damage than good if you try to paint it yourself and don't do a good job.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So paint, carpet, I don't always say replace the carpet. If it will clean up and it looks pretty good, like someone could move in, then I say you're probably fine. If it's stained or really worn, I think it's a good investment a lot of the time. A lot of sellers will say, well, I don't really want to do that because I don't know what color the buyer's going to want. What they want is clean. They want to be able to put the baby down or the pets down and not have a bunch of other odors in there. So I think that does move the needle. Making sure your house is clean is really important, free of smells. Everybody's house smells, whether it's like top ramen or curry.
What about people who, I'm putting a new bathroom in. Is that a good move or not?
I'm talking to a lady right now who is insistent on putting in new vanities. She's doing several upgrades, but she's got popcorn ceilings, and she doesn't want to do the popcorn ceilings. I said, why is it that you don't want to do the popcorn ceilings? That's the one thing. It's the elephant in the room. When people come in your house, they can say, oh, my gosh, it's a beautiful kitchen. Look at the quartz countertops. You've got new windows. But when they see the ceiling, they're going to say, I don't want to deal with that because we don't know if there's asbestos. It's super messy. Can we find somebody to do it? It's going to, it's not like a little thing you can just pick at, you got to do it all at once. So, bathrooms. If you have elephants in the room, like a popcorn ceiling,
take care of that first, right?
Yeah, we got to prioritize. And that's when it's really important to have a realtor talk with you. Like once you've engaged a realtor, you're committed to working together, they'll just open up the whole tool bag and tell you what you need to do. Like, hey, remove that. You'll get your money back, I promise. Where some of the stuff, it's like garnish. It'll make your house sell faster, but not for more money.
Right. Right. So you've just I'm not going to say wasted money, but you're throwing money at something that's really not going to get you any return. Part of this is a pride issue. I think people are reluctant to, maybe, they're like, oh, well, you're going to tell me my house sucks, and they don't want to hear that. How do you help approach that? I mean, give us an example of how Mae Graves tells somebody the popcorn ceiling needs to go, because somebody might say, but I liked that.
Yeah, I have had that happen before.
Yeah.
I actually sold a 70s home. It had the gold glitter in the popcorn ceiling, and the lady loved it. She was like, I don't know why anybody would get rid of that. The little gold fleck is just fun. And I thought, there's something for everyone. But I'm telling you, most people are not going to feel that way. Yeah. So it's really just being honest. It's when you earn that trust, they believe you. There's no advantage for me to tell you to do something that's not going to help sell your house. Like, realtors don't get paid until everyone else gets paid. So it's not in my best interest. Now, on the other hand, I know there are agents who will just say time is of the essence. Let's hurry up and get it on the market. And they'll skip all those other steps because, I'm not saying they're wrong. They just might not have the same perspective. And so I think slowing down and doing those things, building that foundation, getting the house market ready, then putting on the market is going to fare better.
And you're talk about these every month with us. You're giving us some examples. Just maybe taking an extra couple weeks. That's been the difference between. I mean, that's tens of thousands of dollars in some cases, right?
Yeah.
I mean, as far as your sale goes, yeah.
Well, you may just be getting your money back in some of the cases. Some of it you're going to be on the positive side, but it's going to sell and sell for more than if you don't.
Right. Yeah, there's a difference between it being on the, as you mentioned, like 20 days on the market as opposed to 20 months on the market, right?
Exactly. And I mean, I could tell endless stories of homes that just weren't market ready. They just, they were dirty or they smelled bad or, like I had another one. It smelled like smoke. The guy said, I don't really smoke in the house. I mean, I stand in the doorway and maybe it wafts in, but I don't really smoke in the house. I said, well, the last 3 people that looked at your house said it smells like smoke. So he did end up doing painting that whole downstairs area, but then he also had to put an ozone machine in there, and he left town for a while, put that in there. Nobody complained about smoke after that, and it sold. It's pending.
It's amazing. Yeah, and it was as easy as that, so to speak, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what do you see is next? It's kind of a weird time, as you mentioned, getting into the holidays, but give us a bit of your short-term, medium-term look at the market for both sellers and buyers right now.
Well, I was chatting with ChatGPT, which is AI. Some people are freaked out by AI. But I was kind of musing with him and asking him when the best time to buy this year. And as we talked about different scenarios, I'm going to mark his words on this, but he said Christmas Eve was going to be the best day of the year to buy a home because there would be a lot of stale inventory. Rates would be the lowest we've seen in months, and that sellers would be ready to sell. So I think this is a great time to sell in the next few weeks. I think you could get moved in because the lenders have enough room on their plate to get you pushed through, the appraisers, the inspectors. So if you want to be in before New Year's, now's the time.
All right, little Christmas gift either way, either a gift to you for selling or a gift to someone moving in, buying, right?
Exactly.
I love it. Mae, it is always great to talk to you. How do we get in touch with you? Because you are the real estate pro, and if folks might be thinking about getting into this, they ought to give you a call.
Yeah, I'd say just reach out to me. As you can tell, I love to talk, so I just say call me. I'll give you my number. I did form a team, so I've got other agents that work with me as well now. So my number is 360-461-1922.
All right. And if you missed that, give us a call here at the station. We'll get you hooked up there with Mae and her team as well, because you've just grown so much. There's only so much Mae that can go around, right?
Yeah, that's the thing is, there's only so much room on the plate. And if we want to advocate well, it's kind of like they get two agents now. They get me and someone else.
That's awesome. All right, Mae, we'll talk to you in a few weeks, all right? And have a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays in the meantime, all right?
Thanks, Todd. Take care.
All right, we'll talk soon. Mae Graves there. She is our real estate pro, and always great to have her on to talk about the market and what's going on out there buying and selling in real estate.